So, check this out. It's really funny. I don't know what type of rocks you have to have in your head to post something like this and expect anything positive. Twitter user points out Republicans are losing women's support and asks for advice. And of course, the replies from GOP men will show you why. The right is winning over men but losing with young women. What should be done to change that, if anything? And of course, here they all are, just these ugh, ugly, nasty insult types, all saying, take away their right to vote. Yeah, women don't support you, then take away their right to vote so that they can't have a say in what happens in their lives and with their government. And then they're also saying you need to propagandize them. You need to try to make it the norm. Make sure that's all they see is propaganda about how their purpose in life is to shit out kids. You know, not make men like these. You can't even really call them men. Basically, they don't like to have their egos bruised. They don't like when a woman is smarter, calls them out, makes more money, is more successful. You know, typical story. And Vincenzo says, take away their vote, ethnics too. Ethnics too. So, in other words, you want like over 70% of this country not to be able to vote because that kind of represents everybody in the country that doesn't want to vote for you or who you care about. Well, let's face it, you don't care about anyone or anything. Uh, it's about you, your own ego, your own power. You know, these guys can't even see there's a reason they lose in life so often. Doesn't matter. They feel like they deserve all the power here. Ethnics. Vincenzo says, keep ethnics from voting. Vincenzo needs to go to the Leopards Ate My Face subreddit because if these idiots were to get their way and completely transform this country, well, it's never going to happen because, first of all, again, this whole country would have to become a prison because that's like 70+% of this country that is completely the opposite of these people. Luckily, they are in the minority. And I've said it before. If they were to get their way and completely transform this country, Vincenzo's going to be next on their list. You know, another reason these people are too stupid to understand how stupid they are. Take away their vote, ethnics too, average Republican viewpoint fucking scum. But don't look past Vincenzo arguing to remove the ethnics votes. Not very long ago, someone named Vincenzo would not have been considered white at all. Just start stripping away everybody's rights, and then Vincenzo will be back on the block again very shortly. I'm guessing a lot of people who support white nationalism would already not consider somebody like that to be white. How many do you think are saying right now, what the hell kind of name is that? Sounds foreign. And Vincenzo doesn't get it. Yeah. Vincenzo and all the other Vincenzos in this country are never going to get it. Then again, that's the reason Vincenzo and all these other assholes right here are never going to be in any position of power. They don't even hold any real power in their own lives. You kind of got to feel bad for them. Tokens get spent. In the early part of this last century, Italians were seen as highly undesirable immigrants. They were described in the same way Trump talks about vermin. Before Italians, it was the Irish. The Untouchables movie actually does a really nice job showing the casual racism in New York society. I know a 93-year-old Italian lady who's a Trump supporter. I told her that once upon a time, you Italians were treated like the Latinos are being treated now. She gave me a strange look. My 96-year-old mother-in-law was the same way. She was definitely a I've got mine, sucks to be you, R. I'm actually shocked that a little old Italian lady would be that racist, because little old Italian ladies should know just as well as anybody else what racism feels like, what prejudice feels like. My mother remembered a time when she was little seeing signs in the storefronts, Italians need not apply. My mother remembers seeing that in her lifetime. And of course, she grew up, she became old, and like a lot of other people, she became racist and prejudiced and has all these different problems. But one thing other people wouldn't know that I do is that I kind of know how not good her life is going. And that's what leads you down a path of hate. If it doesn't come through self-loathing, it comes through pure selfishness. And what's the word? Where you think entitlement. Yeah, that's what it is. You know, even people who are prejudiced against can definitely grow up and turn into those people. And, you know, I'm white, and I can say, you know, I have family members that are like that. They know what it's like, and they grow up and they become racist and hateful, and you know, in my family member's case, it comes from self-loathing. It comes from entitlement. It comes from just being fucking miserable. And you think these assholes aren't completely fucking miserable? Seriously. You know, I really think it's funny when people post Twitter posts or social media posts by these guys like they're threatening us. You know, women only vote because we allow them to vote. No, that's not why women vote. And it's never going to go back to pre-voting times again. Women are more than half of this country. We actually outnumber you. First off. Second off, It's always the women that they talk about. We allow you to do this. You do this because we allow you. Nobody allows me to do anything. And, women's vote was very early in the last century. You know what came after that, don't you? Uh, Blacks being given civil rights. Do you think any of these people will go out loud on Twitter, even on social media? They'll talk to women like this, but they won't dare say anything like that to black people. They won't tell a black Twitter user, you only vote because I allow you to vote. They will never say that to a black person. Man or woman, they don't say that. Because they're scared. They know what's going to happen if they said something like that out loud. They'll do it to women. I don't understand why they keep doing it, like they think it means anything. They still won't say it to black people. And of course, they would never say this out loud in real life. They won't do it because they know what will happen if they do this in real life. They know what will happen if they do it on social media against the wrong groups. And actually, women are one of them. But they think they're being profound by talking shit like this to women on social media because they think they can get away with it, but they won't ever say something like that to black people, not even on social media. They lose everything. And honestly, that's part of it. These sorry excuses for men don't have anything. You think they have respectable jobs, you think they have a college education, you think they are anywhere over like a 95 to 100 IQ, you think they're successful, you think they're rich, you think they have a shot in life at the women that they're talking down to. I always find it cute when they talk shit to women and then they try to justify it by saying 0 out of 10 wouldn't bang. These women would never fuck you. These women you're talking to like they're beneath you wouldn't touch you with a 10-foot pole. They're not interested in a guy that keeps stubbed out Newports in his pocket and works at Skeeter's Landscaping. Okay, which is what these guys do. Success to men like this is just holding some job. And you've probably seen guys like these. I will put money on it. I could describe what each and every one of them looks like. How's that for being really offensive to the opposite sex? I already know what Vincenzo looks like. I already know what the bearded wonder up there, where he works, how much money he makes. I should be an FBI profiler because anyone can read these guys' messages, can look at their thumbnails, can go through their comment history, and we could profile each and every one of them to a T. These are just sad, disillusioned, not very bright, uneducated, insecure man children. They're what they want to accuse others of being. They are the dregs of our society. They contribute nothing. They're not really important to anybody. Nobody cares what they have to say. Nobody cares what they think. They are very easily taken in by propaganda, which is probably why they bring up propagandizing others. You know, the correct answer here, obviously, to how do you get women to vote for your party is to come up with ways that you appeal and serve women in this country. They can't come up with anything. These are great nut IQ people. They're never going to have any real ideas. They're never going to have a good plan. These guys can't handle their own lives. So they're taken in by the maggot, in particular, propaganda that tells them it's not your fault. You know, like these incel fucks, which they probably are. It's not you, it's everybody else who's wrong. Don't look at yourself and ask how you can do better for others. Blame the others. Cut them out of the equation. These are people who you can't talk to because they don't know how to listen. They don't know how to process. They don't know how to fit in. They're never going to. And God forbid, I mean, again, and if you're one of these guys, I really hate to burst your bubble. It's never going to happen. But in some alternate reality fantasy land, if they did get what they wanted, and I put it out there before, they'll eat each other in a year. They get what they want, and they get in charge. Vincenzo's head will be the next on the chopping block. Because to white nationalists and low IQ hayseeds like these assholes right here, Vincenzo is not going to be white enough for them. Vincenzo is just as ethnic as Hispanics are. And if they got what they wanted and all the Hispanics were gotten rid of, Vincenzo would be next. And Vincenzo's wife, if he ever had one, this is an alternate reality, and Vincenzo's children. It's the leopards eating faces thing. This is why, and this should just be a given. Other countries have figured it out. Of course, we can't. There are certain people you cannot trust in certain positions. There are certain people that can't do certain things. You don't put low IQ loser people like this in charge of anything. These people they shouldn't even get a spot at the table when there's a discussion. The most fundamental aspects of, especially when it comes to an election, running a country, they don't understand. They can't understand. And they really don't care about anyway. That's not somebody you want at the table for a conversation. That's not somebody you want in charge of anything. They don't consider Italians to be white now. I read one of them say that Rudy Giuliani is one of the good Italians. It's the old OJ thing. You know, it was proposed that a reason a lot of white people wanted OJ to be found guilty not even so much to do with the murders themselves, but the fact that OJ was seen as one of the good black people. White people accepted him. You know, he passed their test by playing in ball games and then being in good movies that they watched, becoming somewhat of a hero to their youth. And he was one of the good ones, one of the black people they could accept as a human being. And then he had to go and just fuck it up by murdering two people, which proves them right. You don't trust black people. This is what they were saying. This is what they were saying. And, you know, a lot of people kind of agreed with it. And I don't know. That probably did have a lot to do with public opinion when it came to OJ. And that's what I think of. And maybe that's what this guy is thinking of when he brings this up. Rudy Giuliani is one of the good Italians. That's the type of thing that they're talking about. Others are just different, like they're not human. But if one of them or two of them proves to be useful enough to their purpose, their agenda, whatever it is, then they can tolerate them. They'll say, yeah, Rudy Giuliani or OJ or so and so is one of the good ones. And then, of course, you know, once they're not useful anymore, like Vincenzo over here, they'll be the first ones on the chopping block. Somebody that tells you you're one of the good ones is somebody that doesn't think you're a normal person. It's prejudice. Or what would Lewis Black say? What did he say one time? Prejudice. That is prejudiced and shocking, or what was it? Prejudiced and racist and dehumanizing at a point that is astounding at this point in time or this day and age. Although Lewis Black was talking more about people that didn't like LGBTQ. My brother in Christ, you're ethnic too. Their definition of white is just WASP. You know this. Came here to ask if Vincenzo realizes there are a lot of white conservatives who would view him as ethnic. Yeah, of course. Leopards eating the faces party. And this is why, you know, it would be some far and away alternate dimension, some planet in a galaxy far, far away, where, you know, if these people did have a shot at running things or owning things, you know, we're actually trying to help them by telling them to shut the fuck up. Because if they did get their way, they'd all eat each other, and this country would look like Somalia in a year. It would. And again, children, not very bright, not very interesting, don't understand a lot of things. You can't trust them with this type of stuff. They'll ruin everything they touch. It's actually good for them that they're told to shut the fuck up and let the adults run things. And that's why this woman shouldn't have even bothered asking. And it's the same for them too. These dumbass women standing behind these assholes that don't care about them. We can't win your vote, so let's take it away instead. Very on brand for these fucking losers. Yeah, they did the same thing to black voters after their turnout in major cities put Trump's campaign in a fucking coffin. The irony is something these Republicans believe women should be doing. Vincenzo doesn't have a clue what's going to hit him and his family when the fellow voters got their other policies passed. My dad has a coworker that is really Hispanic, but he claimed to be Italian. He's a huge maggot, so, he'll be rounded up first. There's always a portion of every group that for some reason thinks they will be the special ones who get the exception because they supported the group, even though not being a part of it. Every single time. Said group is always shocked and appalled when the larger group immediately turns on them. Some people just like to stand in the fire. Yeah, exactly. Uh, this is the reason I go back to Reddit. Everything I say, everything, somebody in the comments says the same thing. Leopards and faces and whatnot. It's about your token black, your token woman, your token Hispanic. Herman Cain comes to mind. Hell, they were still using this token of a man even after he was dead. Remember that woman who voted for Trump and then her husband got deported? Yeah, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, so stupid they don't realize how stupid and all that. Ugh. Whoops. Okay. Most women who vote Republican are older, straight, white, middle class, or wealthy women. They can no longer get pregnant, so abortion and birth control doesn't concern them anymore. Their children are now older, teens are adults, so no need to give a fuck about maternity leave or balancing work and parenting. And most of them are housewives or retirees anyway, so they don't give a shit about career discrimination or being kept away from positions of power either. And you can bet they're not taking care of their own elderly parents either. They just put them in retirement homes. Basically, they don't have to deal with any of the common issues that typically affect women. For them, it's not a voting for face eating leopards party situation. It's a fuck you, I got mine situation. They themselves wouldn't have anything to lose, only to gain, just like their husbands. Well, again, in that galaxy far, far away where these people got their way, 65-year-old Karen would probably have her head lopped off too, like the rest of them. They'd probably kill Karen. Oh, how cute. Oh, you got the little cake. I don't have any badges. I live in Arkansas and work in Oklahoma. But what you say is true. And I know most suburbanites in red states vote Republican. And I know a ton of poor than dirt women vote Republican in these states too. They can't see that it's the Republicans that are causing all of the poverty in those states. Yeah. You mean um like states like mine that cover all your expenses? Because it's really blue states like mine that cover everything you have in red states. They won't believe this though. You know, the IQ thing. They're mostly just wealthy enough that those things don't matter. They do not care about consequences for others and have no empathy. And again, that's the IQ thing. This is why certain people, like if you're talking science, you don't want some biblical scholar to be sitting at the table. This isn't who is that guy? That awesome guy, John Carpenter. Ain't a John Carpenter movie where he can make these people kind of sort of look good. I have a family member who wanted ACA gutted because Obama, but she has a pre existing condition and would have been completely fucked if it was. When presented with this information, her response was, yeah, but my condition is different. And here we go with the two different angles of idiocy on the right. It's never going to happen to me. As long as I'm fine, I don't care what happens to anyone else. Yeah, again, these are the people that are all about America and patriotism and shit like that. They love this country. They don't give a fuck about anybody in it, but huh, Republicans are just fine taking away anybody's rights until it's theirs. Delusional tokens waiting to be well spent. Log cabin Republicans confused the shit out of me, but then I remember there were Jews that were pro Nazi. Worked out really well for them, I hear. Weird reading the stuff they actually put out. I think he means log cabin Republicans. Their whole platform isn't Republican ideas, but with gay rights stapled on, like they want you to believe. Their platform is that gay rights are harmful to gay people. These are gay people who are Republican because they think that modern gay rights harm their relationships. And don't even look at what they think about trans people. It's disgusting, frankly. Oh, I'm sure. I am absolutely sure. Ooh. Let's check you out. Oh, a throwaway. I'll take care of you later. Okay. The rich Jew wouldn't be executed under the Nazis. Republicans are straight up advocating for people to be removed from society. If you back them, you're asking to be sent away, deported, or killed. So there's no good reason to support them. Well, of course, the key to their strategy is finding a way to get people to vote against their self-interest. That's exactly what Republicans are all about. In contrast, make sure they get theirs first before denying others everything else. Zero sympathy for Republican women. Yeah, I don't know. My first assumption is that Mary Morgan is an AI generated avatar controlled by a 19-year-old Russian sitting on a cinder block in a barren old room in St. Petersburg. Oh, she's real. Part of Tim Pool's clique and a co host on one of their shows that pushes right wing viewpoints via pop culture discussion, but not Tim Pool's main one. She's a trad wife pick me. Their desire to hurt people is stronger than any rationale. Oh, so she essentially asked for this. So she really doesn't care about women. She's just trying to garner sympathy from GOP men. I check your husband's hard drive. We're going to have our soldiers watch voting sites. Yeah, that's what it would look like. Oh man, I'd love to see them try that shit. The old guy at the beginning. Usain Bolt versus random people on a race. From selling your car to foregoing chemotherapy for your dog. His tips on how to beat inflation. Bread too expensive? Try killing your dog and selling your car. Yeah. What were they just saying? Yeah. See? It's like the new avocado toast. These people are heartless fucks. That's what happens at the intersection of low IQ, uh, no higher education, no interesting life, uh, no charisma, no real smarts, no self awareness. It's like at the intersection of all the worst aspects of a person and their miserable lives. Uh, you get MAGA, you get a modern Republican, you get this disgusting creature born of idiocy and ill education and low IQ and misery and self-loathing and hatred, and these are the people that want to run your fucking country. Stop eating out so much. Okay, we stopped. No, you're killing Applebee's in the economy. Okay, I'm just going to buy some bread. No, you're being wasteful. Save your money. Well, I can't afford it now anyway. Well, have you thought about killing your dog so you can keep spending money on the economy? Stop being so selfish. You can afford to buy less groceries. We asked 5 scientists, and one of them agreed that being dangerously underweight actually just means you save $200 on your food bill. But first, a word from our sponsor, Diamond Necklace. Use our discount code for 5% off your next diamond jewelry. We asked the 10th dentist, and he agreed with us. Did pet food sales plummet? I guess we're killing the economy. I've actually seen people in Reddit subs make posts exactly like that. Go dumpster diving for your food. Euthanize your pets. We're not getting crushed by the cost of living. You're just not doing it right. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Going into arguments about whether or not you would give your dog chemo. That's not the fucking discussion. It's not about your choice of whether chemo is right for your dog or not. You've got these assholes telling you every fucking day to cut back more, make more sacrifices. Fuck your feelings, fuck your life, fuck your dignity. If everything's going horrible for you, you must be doing something wrong. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care about a discussion, of course, only on Reddit. Everyone goes off on a tangent about their dog, their cat, and he needed this, he needed that, and I didn't know if I was going to afford it. That's not the discussion. The discussion is you got rich fucks telling you to kill your pets, dumpster dive for food, and do other debasing, disgusting, horribly depressing actions, fall further down the ladder of degenerate, horrible actions to make up for the fact that people cannot afford to live anymore. Groceries cost too much. They're not going to get together and do anything to improve the economy. They're going to tell you, well, if you can't afford groceries, you're not doing something right. There's no shame in dumpster diving. You don't have the money. Well, I see you have animals. Have you thought about killing them? No, I want my drinky. Here we go again. Pair of female conservative influencers just realized that conservative men hate their guts. I would rather get punched on the subway by some crackhead than be stuck with any of these men for 24 hours. It's like, what is it? It's like Tim Pool. Tim Pool saying that he's happy about the crackhead that was punching random women in the subway. And it's like, look, you know, he's pretty fucked in the women department anyway. I said, right now he'll do anything he can do to get some shock views, some attention, any way he knows how. God damn, you clear your cache and now you're back at the beginning for every single fucking thing. I want lights out. Where did I put it? I put it somewhere. Yes, my good buddy Conspiratorial Templates said something. I'll read it myself. Where is it? Ha! Kyle Shittenhouse. Oh God, that's so funny. Yep, Tim Pool had said, I think it's funny women in New York City are getting punched in the face. He says, you know those tweets you screenshot and hold on to because you have a feeling some epic schadenfreude is inevitable? Oh, I told him giggity goo. Yeah, but Tim Pool has been doomed in the women department for a while. He's just trying to get some attention and shock laughs and shit like that, but we all know deep down that he knows deep down, you know, it's never going to work out for him in the women department. So, ooh, I love this. This guy is an old ass Israel supporter and a pro-Palestinian guy. Beats the shit out of him. And you might feel bad about the old guy until you notice the back of his sign talks about how Gaza needs Jesus. Fucking Reddit. Knocks out old Israel supporter. No ceasefire, this is the fucking you get. Nuke Gaza now. And on the back of his sign, it says something about Gazans needing Jesus.
Hey!
Yeah, he saw it coming. He knew at that moment he fucked up. And you know something else that's funny? I always find it funny. These guys get into these fights. They freeze and like drop to the ground. Everyone's supposed to think they're knocked out. I don't think they're knocked out. You know, and I've seen like big guys do this too, where they get tapped on the side of the head and they just drop like a fucking rag doll. I don't think these guys are knocked out. This is just something shitheads do when they get into a fight they can't win. It's their way of pussying out so that, you know, it's like the modern day version of curl up into a ball. And that's what this guy did.
Hey!
Gaza. What the F? Bro has no idea how small Gaza is. May as well just nuke all of Israel. Yep, he doesn't care about Israel. The reverse side says Gaza needs Jesus. Shows how stupid this racist old fuck is. In the last few months, Israel has destroyed every Christian church in Gaza. I bet this guy doesn't even know that Gaza has Christian installations or churches or whatever. They bombed a 600-year-old Christian monastery in Lebanon on Christmas Eve. They destroyed the Church of St. Porphyrius in Gaza. It was built in 425 AD. Israeli snipers shot two old Palestinian Catholic women who were praying at the Holy Family Church in Gaza City on December 16th. Israel is exactly like ISIS, destroying centuries-old landmarks and holy sites and killing anything that's different. Something extra terrible about a country that was formed in 1948, destroying centuries-old cultural and religious sites. Your mother is older than the state of Israel. You know, at least ISIS has the balls to admit what they're doing, what their goal is, and even own their atrocities. Israel still pretends they're the good guys, and somehow it's a misunderstanding. Not just the good guys, but the victims. You know you're fucked up when somebody compares you to ISIS and it's an insult to ISIS. Gaza needs Jesus, but nuke Gaza. So you're trying to bring back Jesus to kill him again with the fallout? Someone pro-Israel holding up a sign telling a predominantly Islamic country that they need Jesus is a very special kind of irony. Very special kind of stupid. Well, the weird thing is this guy and the others like him don't give a shit about Israel or Gaza or Palestinians or Jews or pretty much anyone or anything. They don't give a shit because, you know, a big reason a lot of these people want a war in Gaza is because, according to their book of Revelation or whatever the fuck it is in the Bible that talks about Armageddon, Jews have to be in Israel, according to their holy book. If Jews aren't in Israel and a war doesn't occur, then their buddy Jesus isn't going to touch down. And if Jesus doesn't touch down, then he's not going to be able to rule from the mountaintop. They all think that there's going to be a rapture. And they, of course, are going to be the special people that float up into heaven while, you know, Armageddon occurs on the rest of the planet. And horrible sinners like you and me roast in hell for 7 years. Now do you understand why you really don't want religious freaks in charge of your nuclear codes? That's Jesus music, Christian Zionists. Israel needs to prep the earth for the second coming of Jesus is a big deal. He doesn't seem to understand the goal is to steal the land, not make it uninhabitable. I'm sure this old fuck would love a couple of nukes dropping on that country. You see, if this guy were at the button, he wouldn't hesitate for a second to press it. because a nuclear blast would be the ultimate act of war. And then his buddy Jesus will come back. He'll rise from the mushroom cloud to take him away to heaven because he's such an awesome guy. Christian Zionists don't care about Jews or Muslims, they care about Israel. The book of prophecy says that the end times will start with a battle in Israel, and Jesus will rule. So they want the war to end all wars in Israel because that's a sign of the end times in their holy book. And of course, since they think they're the only ones who will actually have a good thing going in the end, they are more than happy to usher it in. Same reason there were people unironically calling Trump the Antichrist while still supporting him. These people literally want to end the fucking world. They should not be in any position of power. Any position of power or authority at all. I wouldn't put this old bastard in charge of a fucking school cafeteria. You know, and like I said, that's really what you need. Make sure these people are never given a seat at any table. Even if I believed in prophecies, isn't the whole point that they are foretold how they will happen? And whatever people do on earth doesn't matter. Regardless, if you believe the world is going to end and that it would be a good thing, you should not be allowed anywhere where policy is being made that will last longer than this sentence. I have the same argument for 80-year-olds being in charge of everything for the most part. They have no vested interest in doing anything because when it happens, it won't be their problem anymore. These people do not care about making the world a better place because that is counteractive. The world needs to be bad so more people flock to their cult. And then Revelations is that much closer to happening. It's in their best interest to make everyone's lives miserable. Once you realize that, all the evangelical talking points and policies start making sense. If we're in a Christo-fascist government, that's supposed to be a good thing because it forces people to be sinless and more likely to go to heaven when their apocalypse happens. That's getting an upvote. Who is that? Tweety one? Tweety one? That was very, very beautifully put. Perfect. So much for purity of intentions. If the Almighty can read our minds and hearts, what's the point of forcing anything onto anyone? It's just like beating a confession out of somebody. They'll say whatever they have to. You know, please stop talking like there's any logic to these people. Like anything they says should mean anything to anyone. It's just like I just said, which this guy so eloquently reiterated, even though I'm streaming this long after he made his comment. But I've said it before and I've said it 1,000 times. That's why these people should not have a seat at the table. You don't listen to these people. You cannot talk to these people. These are overgrown man children and women children who just, they cannot be a part of the discussion. You don't want them at the big table. You don't want them in the discussion. You don't want them having any part in it. They want to believe their horseshit, that's fine. They can believe whatever horseshit they want. The problem we have is that they want to make their horseshit a code for my life. Nobody should ever allow that, especially not the United States. This is the quiet part they don't say out loud. Evangelicals don't even fully comprehend why they support Israel. War in Israel is just an indication of Armageddon to them, and they think it's a good thing. And that's the problem. And that's also why I didn't want to hear about religion when it came to Israel and Palestine. I don't care who thinks their religion is better than the other. I don't give a fuck. Religion should never be anywhere near politics. And this is why. Look at how fucked up our country has gotten. Increasingly fucked up. In the past, I don't know, I'd say about 8 years, since Trump got into the middle of things. Things have gotten horrible, and people have gotten horrible. And when I say horrible, I mean they were given support. They were given a platform. Once upon a time, these people knew to keep their mouths shut. Trump made them feel okay with their racism and sexism and religious bullshit, and uh it's sickening, but I don't know. I have to go to new Reddit because ah, what's the name of Laura Trump's gun club? The KKK. Hey, did you know that if you read social media, 95% of the US population has extensive experience piloting container ships out of Baltimore Harbor? I know that if you're losing control of a giant ship near a bridge, you should drop anchor. Pretty basic stuff. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna vacuum so I can get my drinky. Then I'm gonna play some World War Z. See y'all.